Senior Ukrainian military commander tenders resignation over lethal strike on training facility. Russia's military issued a statement saying its forces had launched a missile on a Ukrainian military tent camp in central region, and the commander of Ukraine's land forces, one of the most senior positions in the country's military, announced on Sunday that he was tendering his resignation, citing a lethal strike on Ukrainian military training facility. Ukrainian President Zelensky said that he had called a meeting to examine this incident. So that's the breaking news that's coming in. Senior Ukrainian military commander has tendered his resignation over lethal strike on training facility. My colleague Pranay continues to stay with us with more on this. Pranay, over to you.
As we have been discussing that on one side, there is a consolidation of position by the either side trying to get the maximum military gains, maximum attack before entering into any ceasefire. So therefore, the Russian side have carried out a missile attack on the Ukrainian territory, after which the resignation of a senior military commander of the Ukrainian army has come up. However, the President Volodymyr Zelensky is yet to comment on this specific development. He has called a review meeting of his senior military commander. But we have seen in the last 3.5 years that, a lot of senior military commanders have changed in the Ukrainian military. Many people, many positions have new faces now. But as far as the peace talks are concerned, that is a big development we are looking forward. That will there be any material change, any agreement between the Russian side and the Ukrainian side, because this is a direct talk process, and this talk process is restarting after over a 3-year period within which there was no direct contact between the Russian side and the Ukrainian side. So this peace talk, facilitated by the Turkish side in Istanbul, is a very significant development. The change of any military commander is not that very significant thing. However, the escalation in military attacks, the escalation of the engagement of targets on the either side, that is a significant increase in the conflict position. And if you see that both sides are trying to consolidate their position on ground before they enter into any possible ceasefire, which is largely being brokered by the US side, because the United States is also involved. President Donald Trump had a direct conversation with President Vladimir Putin few days ago, and thereafter this direct contact process began.
All right, Pranay, do stay with us. Alison continues to stay with us. Alison, do you also think this drone attack signals a political shift in Kyiv from defense to open offense?
I don't think Kyiv is in a position to be able to shift from a purely a strong defensive position to an offensive position. And there's a few reasons behind that. First of all, they depend heavily on the West for a lot of their intel, for a lot of their funding, for a lot of their hardware. And if Kyiv could have gone onto the offensive, it would have done so as soon as it could and not waited this long. The other thing that we are seeing as a major constraint Ukraine facing is the internal political issues. So you have a public where a large portion of the population is starting to tire from the fighting and just wants some sort of resolution or negotiation to be reached and end the fighting. That would work directly against the popular support needed for a strong offensive. And then also within the military in Ukraine, there have been some leadership challenges. There have been some difference of opinions between leaders in the military with the politicians making some of the decisions over the future of battle plans. There's been problems with morale among some of the fighters on the front for extended periods of time. So right now, Ukraine is not in the best position to have the capability to launch some type of strong offensive. What they did do was impressive in terms of their ability to go behind enemy lines and conduct this strike. But much larger action would be needed if we wanted to see some sort of offensive from Ukraine that would dramatically shift the position that Russia is in, and also have them come out in a different position in this war. At this point, there's not a lot to go behind the idea that Ukraine could reclaim any of the territory that it has lost so far in the past couple of years against Russia.